Okay, good evening, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this very dreary evening in the UK. My name's Phil, and I will be your host this evening. We are transporting you off this evening to the warmer climes of the Philippines, and specifically a lovely area called Dumaguete, which is one of my favourites. We're very fortunate to be joined this evening by Ollie and Reiss from Atmosphere Resort. Gentlemen, hello, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, hi.
For Ollie and Reiss, the original plan for this presentation was to do this when Ollie and Reiss were over here in the UK and Europe a little bit earlier, but it didn't quite work out. So they've now headed back to the Philippines, and it's the middle of the night for them. So we're doubly grateful that they are with us this evening. And if they stumble on their words, well, they have a very good excuse, because it's, what is it there? 3:30?
Yeah, 2:30 it is, yes.
2:30, okay, yeah. So thank you very, very much for joining us this evening. So we're talking about a place called Dumaguete. This is a place that I have been lucky enough to travel to twice, and I am very, very fond of. So fond of it that I seriously considered moving there and give a lot of thought to it. It's a really, really magical part of the Philippines, and Atmosphere Resort in particular is a really, really stunning spot. So we're going to be talking this evening about all the reasons that this area and the Darwin Marine Sanctuary and the area around it is very, very special for scuba divers, and also a little bit about Atmosphere Resort as well, where Ollie and Reiss work. Before we get into that, I'll just mention a couple of things. So this presentation is being recorded for those that aren't able to join this evening but want to watch it back later. There is, you will notice, both a Q&A and a chat on Zoom. At the end of Ollie and Reiss's presentation, we'll be taking some questions. So if you've got some questions, just pop them on there, and we'll do our best to answer all the questions at the end of the call. So without further ado, let me hand over to Ollie and Reiss to share with you everything that is wonderful about this very special part of the Philippines.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the lovely presentation this evening about the Philippines, or more specific about the Darwin coast on Negros Island. And here you have an idea on how the coastline looks like. Yeah, we have a beautiful brown sandy beach, and that is due to the volcano you see in the background. It's Mount Alinis, with over or almost 2,000 meter high. And yeah, that shaped the coastline of Darwin itself. It is very specific underwater, so not only sandy areas or seagrass where you find a lot of seahorses in between. We do have artificial reefs and natural reefs who are all along or stretched along the coastline. And for you to know specifically location, if you see the Philippines in general, you would take a flight from Manila down to Dumaguete. And from Dumaguete, it only takes you about 30 to 40 minutes to Darwin and to Atmosphere Resorts. If we take the map out here, Dumaguete you find here on the east side, and we are further south of Negros Island, where we have the southern tip of Cebu over here, and Siquijor Island and Apo Island, which we talk about it a little bit later. The specific side of Darwin is that we do have the dark sand, and that is, or that brings a lot of nutrition into the water for very specific critters. And some of the critters you find in Indonesia, for example, in Lembe or in Bali, but the density of them here and the biodiversity here in Darwin is pretty unique. To give you a little glimpse, I prepared a video, or I put a video here in the presentation, which is about 2 minutes long and was filmed last year by Freddie Schuschel in May, and it's pretty stunning. So have a look, enjoy the video, and after that, Reiss will take over and explain you a little bit more of what is happening down here in Darwin.
Wow, that's an amazing video, isn't it? What a talented guy he is.
Yeah, so that was amazing video by Freddie there, just looking into the the amazing critters that we get in Darwin. So this is me. So I'm the in-house marine biologist at Atmosphere. This is just a little bit of a background about me. So I did my Bachelor of Science in Sheffield, studied zoology. And then in London, I did my master's degree. So this is in freshwater marine ecology. I specialized in feeding strategies of loggerhead turtles in Cape Verde. Unfortunately, I never got to go to Cape Verde because of, that big C word, COVID, but I still got to look at some great feeding applications out there. So I'm both a marine biologist here. I'm also a PADI dive instructor. So I teach a full range of PADI courses, but I also get involved with some marine biology courses that I'm going to go into in more detail. So I've had experience in marine research organizations in Honduras, Cambodia, Indonesia, South Africa, Cape Verde, and then also the Philippines. So I've got quite a nice, well-rounded background in marine biology that I'm happy to share with everyone. So really interesting thing that I teach here at Atmosphere is the PADI Critters of Darwin specialty course. So I'm going to go into that in a little bit more detail after this, but it's a really interesting thing that you can learn here and that you can't actually learn anywhere else. It's a distinct PADI specialty that we teach in-house at Atmosphere. So now for some anagrams that may mean nothing to some people, go into them a little bit more later, but some of the marine conservation initiatives that I'm involved with here at Atmosphere with our partners. So FRAGs, that's to do with coral fragments. So we're actually trying to regrow coral. So this is where we take what's called corals of opportunity. So corals that have broken off naturally, whether this is in storm events or accidentally by divers, and we basically tie them onto metal frames, and we clean them and we kind of help them grow before we can replant them on the reef. So one of the issues that people are facing, especially in Asia, are these crown of thorns outbreaks. So there are these kind of related to starfish that kind of crawl along the reef and they eat everything, and they have very limited natural predators. So what we have to do is we have to kind of try and keep them in check. So that's something that we're involved with here. and then Le Mave. So that's one of the large marine vertebrates organization out here. So that's who we can send pictures of, especially turtles in Darwin. We have a lot of turtles in Darwin and Upper Island. We can send them over and you can actually name them yourself. So that's just a few of the initiatives I'm involved with. So the Coast of Darwin Paddy distinctive specialty. So like I said, this is something that you can't do anywhere else in the world. It's something that was set up in-house at Atmosphere by one of our previous marine biologists. And it's a really interesting way of learning about the amazing critters that we have here in Darwin. So like Ollie was saying, we have a lot of biodiversity here. We've got a high density of these, what we call macro or critters here. So just to go through a few, so we've got things like mandarin fish, we've got seahorse, we've got candy crabs. So in the top right, we've got what we like to call the Shaun the sheep nudibranch, or a Kuro sap-sucking slug. You know, these tiny things that you wonder while we're looking at these tiny blades of grass or seagrass or little leaves, we're looking for these tiny things. So, you know, it's a really popular thing to learn while you're out here. You know, it's something that you can't do anywhere else. So it's an amazing thing that I love to teach, and I love to get the opportunity to teach when people come out to Darwin. Okay, so a little bit about the Darwin coast. So like Ollie said, you know, we've got this world-class macro, or, you know, small things, critters, because of the dark volcanic sand from Mount Talinis. So we've got more than 20 dive sites dotted along the Darwin coast. And the nice thing about where Atmosphere is situated is, you know, it's only really a maximum 15-minute drive to get to these dive sites. And along Darwin coastline, we've got a network of these marine protected areas, or kind of no-take zones, and that's what contributes to the you know, amazing marine life that we have here. And like you can see on the right, we've got some mandarin fish, we've got some frogfish, we've got some, you know, these amazing colorful nudibranchs here as well. Yeah, so we've got some amazing macro that you can see when you come to Darwin. Okay, so very exciting. I'm not sure if you, I'm sure some of you saw the latest Planet Earth 3. So in episode, I think it was episode 2, it's called Ocean. So you might have seen a frogfish lying in wait and eating a lionfish. So that was actually filmed on our house reef, which, you know, is amazing. So it's this yellow clown frogfish that you can see on the left. So I'm not sure how much you'll know about frogfish, but they're these ambush animals. You know, they look a bit strange or beautiful, depending on what you think. But they're related to anglerfish. So you can see the picture on the left. You know, they've got this lure that's at the top there. So that's supposed to resemble prey items. So it kind of wiggles this in front of its mouth, waits for some unsuspecting prey to come nearby, and then it will grab it, you know, with lightning speed. So these really amazing animals. So we hosted the BBC team a couple of years ago, and yeah, they spent some time here filming this, you know, amazing frogfish. So we've got a nice mix on our house reef. So we've got beautiful coral formations, lots of colorful reef fish. We've got excellent macro diving as well. So we can see, you know, things like frogfish. We can see these tiny things like candy crabs. These, yeah. So we've got these bobtail squid as well. We've got octopus. Got all sorts of things on our house reef. You know, it's also a marine sanctuary, which is why it's such an amazing place to dive. We also have partly a bit of an artificial reef. So we've got these big crates that have been sunk that are a lovely place for coral and fish. Okay, and we have amazing snorkeling as well. So we have lots of turtles, lots of green turtles that hang around in the seagrass as well. So it's a great place to go snorkeling. Okay, so we've got what we call critter seasons. So from March to July, we have what's called a baby boom. So we see lots of small critters. You might have these frogfish that are the size of your fingernail. You've got these flamboyant cuttlefish, you know, the size of a small coin. You know, we've got these amazing critters that you can see, the tiny critters during these months of the year. So we also have a egg laying season, which is roughly from January to March. You've got things like bobtail squid, you've got these jawfish, you've got the blue ring octopus there as well. So it's opportunity, especially for, you know, budding underwater photographers out there. You know, you have an opportunity to capture some amazing shots during these months that everyone's going to be very jealous about when you get home. So these are some more frogfish. So we call this frogfish madness. It's from April to June, where we see a much higher number of frogfish in the area. Yeah, and also some tiny ones as well. So yeah, tiny ones the size of your fingernail. So we have things like clown frogfish, we have sargassum frogfish, giant frogfish, all of these different frogfish that you can usually distinguish because of what their lure looks like. So sometimes it resembles a worm, sometimes it resembles a little shrimp, and that's the best way to identify them. So yeah, so we can see these amazing frogfish in Darwin. So we also have octopus mating periods. So you can see during September to January, we've got blue ring octopus, we've got flamboyant cuttlefish, we've got wonderpus. So we've got these, you know, amazing octopus species that you can see here as well, ranging from tiny ones like the flamboyant cuttlefish, and also a little bit smaller like the blue ring octopus, and then you can get a little bit bigger like the wonderpus as well. So yeah, these amazing creatures that you can see in Darwin during these months. We're also lucky enough to have beautiful Apo Island nearby as well. So whereas the coastline of Darwin is usually characterized by muck diving, we've got Apo Island just a short trip away, which has, you know, beautiful coral formations, soft coral, hard coral, lots of big schools of fish, lots of turtles there. So we do 2 or 3 dive trips there, available every day. It's only a 30-minute boat ride from Atmosphere, so it's not too far. So it's been a marine sanctuary for over 20 years. It's one of the largest marine sanctuaries in the Philippines. It's a very successful marine sanctuary. So there's actually more than 400 coral species present in Apo Island, and you know, this is incredible when you think that there's actually only about 420 coral species in the whole of the Philippines. So, you know, it's amazing coral diversity in Apo Island, you know, which is what brings people from all across the world. So it's a turtle feeding area. So we have hawksbill turtles, we have green turtles that you know, you can see around Upper Island, you know, these beautiful turtles that hang around there. We also see lots of banded sea kraits, lots of big schools of jacks in the blue. And we have also some great snorkeling, you know, for the people who are not diving out there. There's some lovely areas in the shallows, these kind of coral gardens that are really beautiful to snorkel around. Okay, so one of the initiatives that you can get involved with when you're here is you can actually name your turtle with LAMAVE. So like I mentioned before, they're the Large Marine Vertebrates Research Institute. They're based in the Philippines. So what we can do is, if we get a nice picture side on you can actually identify the turtle from its markings, specifically green turtles. We have a database, we can share this with Lamave, and you're able to potentially name your turtles. So this is a nice initiative that our guests or people in Darwin, you can actually get involved with yourself. So it's a really nice thing that you can get involved with.
All right. That sounds very tempting to come over here, I would say. I mean, we are lucky enough to live here and dive these spots every day and see all these critters and turtles and all the beautiful corals at Apo Island. But the newest development in our dive center is actually the tech diving facilities. I know it's not for everyone. We haven't tried, or have you tried yet?
Not yet.
No, me neither. But believe it or not, between all the tiny frogfish and different octopuses and nudibranchs and so on, the tech diving instructor, they been out teaching yesterday, no, sorry, 2 days ago on the house reef. And believe it or not, they saw a hammerhead shark down on 40 meters. And especially around Apo Island, there's a lot more to see if you go below 40, 50 meters where the usual divers are. And Gabe, our tech diving instructor, who is teaching basically all TDI courses on Trimix down to or up to 100 meters, and is also happy to guide you on a rebreather dive down to 100 meters with a scooter or not. And he comes back from Apo Island many times seeing 1 to 10 hammerheads. Sometimes, it happened, let's put it that way. It happened, he saw a tiger shark there. A few times he saw a big marlin passing by. So there's a lot of stuff to still be discovered at Apo Island and along the Darwin coast.
Okay. So yeah, so it's amazing other things that you can try while you're here as well. So just going to go into a little bit of detail about the Institute for Marine Research. So this is one of our partners. It's actually co-owned by the owners of Atmosphere. So it's our partners. So you can join there. So they're a non-profit in Darwin, and they do some amazing research into the coral research, coral conservation. So what you can do is you can join them as a research assistant while you're out here. They also do programs where you can become a dive professional as well. So you can become a dive master or a instructor as well while you're here. Some of the things that they're involved with, so they have a long-term reef monitoring project here in Darwin. So they've currently writing an outlook report for this year. So they monitor all of the dive sites along here in Darwin. So they come to Atmosphere, to our pool, roughly once a month to calibrate their stereo video system. So this is what they're using here. So this is really interesting. They use this to actually get a 3D kind of map of the reef and all the topography. So it's a really interesting project that they get involved with. Yeah, it's great.
Reiss, are they the 3D images that they see? Are they available online or on their website or anything like that?
So the reports that they write are publicly available. So and they do have a website. So it's the Institute for Marine Research. So they do share their research on their website, and then also in their annual reports, they have these amazing 3D images as well.
Yeah, super. Thanks.
Okay. So then we have the FRAG study. So I kind of touched on this before. So what we're doing is we're trying to use this as a coral restoration project. So we take the corals of opportunity, the broken corals, naturally broken, and IMR, the Institute for Marine Research, they attach these onto these metal frames. It's at one of the dive sites here called Sahara. So they'll attach these metal frames, and then they'll come and they'll regularly clean these corals. And really interesting opportunity for Atmosphere guests. So what we do is we run regular, what we call frag dives. So it's an opportunity for guests from Atmosphere to come and join the Institute for Marine Research on these dives, whether it's to plant some new coral or whether it's to go and help them clean these cages, clean these corals that they've planted. So it's a really amazing initiative that you can get involved with when you're at Atmosphere. So what they'll do is they'll take these corals, and then when they've grown large enough, they'll actually plant these back on the reef. So it's a great initiative to try and restore the coral, the amazing coral that we've got in Darwin. Okay, so like I said before, one of the problems, one of the impacts that's happening in the Philippines is these crown of thorns. So these slow-moving creatures that just go along the reef, and they will just decimate the coral. It's usually quite obvious when there's been a crown of thorns outbreak. They especially like to hang around the staghorn coral, so the Acropora type of coral. You can see, they range from small ones to these huge crown of thorns that you can see usually on the underside of plate coral as well. So what the Institute for Marine Research do is, it's scientifically proven that injecting them with a mixture of water and vinegar, that actually kills them. So what they'll do is they'll go diving with these big pouches of water and vinegar and these syringes or these syringe guns, and will fill them full of this mixture, and it causes them to come off of the substrate and ultimately die. So we have to be very careful with this. In the past, people have kind of tried to chop them up or things like that, but actually what happens is they'll just regrow their limbs. So if you chop up a crown of thorns starfish into 10 pieces, it's potentially going to grow 10 crown of thorns starfish. So it's really important that we do this properly. And it's also something that guests are able to help with as well. So we can have guests come with us as spotters, and we kind of just go along the reef in a kind of a roving maneuver. We look for these crown of thorns starfish. So luckily on our house reef, we don't really see these. But one of the neighboring dive sites is one of the areas that we go and have a look for these crown of thorns starfish. So another thing that we can get involved with while you're staying in Atmosphere.
All right, thank you, Reiss. And yeah, very interesting stuff, definitely. Yeah, taking pictures of the turtles you have seen along the Darwin coast or at Apo Island, and upload them to Lamave and see maybe their migration pattern is pretty interesting, I believe. Or helping out with the crown of thorns and the pieces of coral. Yeah, there we have a few projects where you can actively help us with. And here on that picture, going back to Atmosphere, here on that picture, you have a beautiful bird view of the resort and the beachfront. And as you see here on the left-hand side in the water, the dark spots, these are all already coral heads. So also, especially for the non-divers in between us, you can basically just walk down into the ocean and start your snorkel over here. It takes you about 300 meters going north, and you will find a beautiful seagrass area where I normally see at least half a dozen of turtles who are lying in the seagrass, eating or sleeping, or even one coral bum where they get cleaned. So yeah, it is a nice variety here. And specifically for the resort, you see that we have 3 pool areas. So if you're non-diving and you like to just relax along or at the pool area, there's plenty of space. We have a pool bar and a beach bar for beautiful drinks and cocktails. We have the Breeze restaurant over here with a beautiful view over the beach, over the pool, where you have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have the Ocean restaurant here at the beachfront, which is open in the evenings, where we have a special fine dining theme to bring basically the Philippine cuisine closer to our guests. And yeah, but they do pretty magic in the kitchen. That is all I can say.
I can verify that. I had an absolutely delicious meal there.
Yeah, if you see me, I'm always getting bigger when I'm here. I need to travel more, I think. Yeah, it's too good. Over here, you see the rinsing area. So that is the dive center in the middle of the resort next to the reception. And a beautiful spa over here, which is located in the heart of the resort, surrounded in a beautiful tropical garden. And the different accommodation parts are lined around the spa area. So we have 54 rooms in 6 different categories, which means, yeah, there's plenty of room for you to choose if you come with your partner, with your dive buddy, with your entire family. So we have family rooms, we have penthouses with 2 bedrooms and separate bathrooms. So there's accommodation for everyone, basically. And beside the diving and all the projects we are doing underwater, we do also have a project above water, which I tell you right after this slide. And just to mention that there are also a lot of different activities for you to do outside the resort or even inside the resort. Yeah. Next to the spa, we have a yoga and meditation area, which is running every day or twice a day, where you can practice some yoga. We have a fitness area. We have guided mountain bike tours, which we are offering. We're going over to waterfalls and hot springs, mountain lakes. And yeah, it is a beautiful area, a beautiful island, and a lot more to explore. One of the projects we are supporting here in Dumaguete, and this is not marine related, is the Atmosphere Soup Kitchen. And you see all these smiling kids over there. I would say they wouldn't be smiling so much without us, to be honest, because they've been basically growing up around the dump site in Dumaguete. They had to help their parents to find anything in the trash, anything useful, anything they could resell to make a living. And they had no chance to go to school or learn anything, writing or math or reading or anything like that. So the owners of Atmosphere Resorts and Spa, Matthew and Gabrielle Holder, who started the resort in 2008, put this project into life in, I think, 2010 it was. And since then, there are about 60 children every day who are getting a warm meal, vitamins, toothbrush and toothpaste. And at the same time, they can learn how to read and write at least. Yeah, so if you're interested, we have a weekly transfer to the soup kitchen. So every guest can join for free, of course, and see what we are doing there. And if you're keen to help, to cook, to serve the meals, then you're more than welcome. Yeah. So beside all the projects, I would also talk just quickly about the dive center in general. Above there, you see Apo Island and our big bunker boat. This is a traditional Filipino style boat. Yeah, we take 16 guests out on that boat. And with that boat, we usually go over to Apo Island and do either 2 or 3 dives over there and then come back. Then we have Eve on the right-hand side, and we have a second boat, which is Kay, our 2 speedboats. And with those speedboats, we usually take you along the Darwin coast for your dives. If it's in the morning, afternoon, night, dusk dive, we can offer that all. Up to 5 dives a day are possible. And the beauty is that within all the dive packages you book with Atmosphere, you always have nitrox included. All marine park fees are included, and they are quite expensive here in Darwin. So you're talking about $5 to $6 or pounds per dive. So that can sum up if you're a heavy diver, right? So if you're an underwater photographer or not, we do have the facilities for it. We have a beautiful camera room with air guns and towels and everything where you can clean and change your equipment. And talking about the equipment, this is our beautiful instructor now. His name is Law, and these guys, if you have been to the Philippines, then you know. But these guys do basically everything for you. They carry your equipment, they put it away, they wash it, and when they put it away in these beautiful and organized equipment rooms, we have a little gimmick actually, because behind that equipment room is our compressor, and when this is running, all the hot air is blown into the equipment room. So every morning you have the joy of putting on a dry wetsuit. How is that? And yeah, diving with atmosphere. I mean, Reiss has told you a lot about it already. All the different critters are around here, different seasons for different critters. If these are the octopus or the frogfish or the different nudibranchs, all the turtles we have along the Darwin coast and Upper Island. It's a beautiful diversity as well in diving. It's not only mud diving. Luckily, we don't have too much plastic in the water over here compared to some other dive destinations. And now that we spotted a few sharks in the deeper areas, makes it even more exciting over here. So if you haven't seen a whale sharks do exist over here, and they pass by the coastline sometimes on the way, usually to Oslo. Some of you have heard about Oslo, maybe some of you haven't. Oslo is an area south of Cebu, a small fishing village. And I say always at the very beginning, they do feed the whale sharks over there, so you don't have to support it. We totally understand. But for those who like to go, the opportunity is there, and you can see 3, 5, 10 whale sharks, which are about 5 to 10 meters in size on a daily basis, basically. And yeah, it is not often in the world, but yes, they do feed them, and it's your choice to support it or not. We would be very happy if you support us one day and do the critter course with Reiss, or just come diving with us, snorkeling, or enjoy a massage in the resort. And to have a little overview about the entire resort and atmosphere, I have a short video here for you for the end. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Ollie, Reiss, thank you so much. That was an absolutely fascinating presentation. Some really interesting stuff there, and we love the projects that you're involved with and the great things you do, not only on the marine biology side, but also with the local community as well. I think for me, you know, they're a really important part of tourism, and you know, spreading you know, lots of positivity to you know, the surrounding area. So that's very, very important, I think, and you guys do a wonderful job out there. To anybody that had a small grey box on the or on the top of their screen, apologies. We are aware of that, but it's something to do with Zoom, and we we don't know why it's there. But I don't think it will detract from the presentation at all, and all the imagery. So maybe, hopefully, that's whet your appetite to visit this really special corner of the Philippines. If you were interested in going, then I just wanted to share a few details of what a package might look like. So hopefully you can see my screen now with a little bit of luck. So let's get this started. Okay, this is one of my favourite images of the pool in atmosphere. Lovely spot. So if you just wanted to go to Atmosphere Resort, we've put together a sample package for you. Obviously it's tailor-made, so you can play with this as you like. So if you wanted a package with the flights from the UK, 1 night in either Manila or Cebu, because you can come in either way, 7 nights at the beautiful Atmosphere Resort with breakfast, 10 dives, you get a complimentary checkout dive as well, nitrox, all those sanctuary fees that Ollie mentioned, and all the transfers you need as well. So everything in that will cost you around about 2,865 per person, which is not bad at all. You know, very good value considering what a wonderful resort it is. But we've got a little thank you as an exclusive just to you for making the effort to join this presentation this evening. We've got a little offer for you. So this is actually save, I believe it's 15%, Ollie, is that right, on the accommodation rates at Atmosphere Resort. So on this particular package here, that would work out as a saving of about £160 per person. So if there's 2 of you, it's saving of about £320, which is not too shabby for spending an hour watching a lovely Zoom presentation. That's one thing that you can do, and you can stay for 10 nights, 12 nights, and people go for as long as they like. But maybe you want to have a package that visits another area of the Philippines. So we've got a suggested trip idea. Obviously, we can tailor make anything, but this is a really nice twin center package that we wanted to tell you about. So this one combines 5 nights at Atmosphere Resort with 5 nights in an area in southeast Bohol called Anda, and another resort which is almost as wonderful as Atmosphere Resort, but not quite, called Aman Ini Resort, and they're similar level. They're a really nice pairing. So if you wanted to do a twin center, then you could do this package with 5 nights at each resort, half board, 20 dives, nitrox, all your transfers, and that would come in about 4,295 per person. And as I say, that's just a sample, so you can play with that as you wish, and we're happy to tailor a package to your requirements if you'd like to visit. Obviously, that special offer I mentioned would apply to this package as well. This is just a standard package, so just get in touch, and we'd be happy to put together a trip as you like, so that you can also explore this lovely region. Okay. If you've got any questions from the talk that you'd like to ask Ollie or Reiss or myself, as I mentioned, you'll see the chat or the Q&A section. Please do type away, and we'll be very happy to answer any questions that come your way, as long as we can keep Ollie and Reiss awake for a little bit longer. Just while we're waiting for people to type, Reiss, I wanted to ask a question. So you mentioned about the Apo Island Sanctuary there, and that it's been in place for 20 years. I believe there's an interesting story behind that in terms of how the sanctuary came about, and a real kind of good news story that's spread to other marine protected areas. Are you able to share a few more details on that?
Yeah, so Apo Island, it's one of the biggest and most kind of biggest success stories for marine protected areas in the Philippines. So it kind of all started because Apo Island and the surrounding kind of marine area started to become overfished, and the local community, and also kind of in conjunction with a professor from the Silliman University in Dumaguete. So they kind of decided, enough is enough. So they wanted to set up a marine protected area around Apo Island to conserve the fish species that were there. And since they've done that, it's been amazing. You have these schools of jacks present there, these massive schools of fish that, you know, and that are happily living around in the waters around Apple Island, as well as these turtles that can kind of just, you know, come and relax in the seagrass, knowing that, you know, they're safe and sound around Apple Island. So it's you know, it's an amazing success story that we have here in the Philippines.
And as it was explained to me, that was sort of the first in the Philippines, and then because of the success of that one, then the other marine protected areas around the country, of which there are a lot now, they're all really sort of offshoots from this original model at Apple Island.
Yeah.
So it's a lovely place. We haven't got any questions, so we must have done a good job of going through things in enough detail. But we have got a couple of comments. Matthew was asking what time is there, which we mentioned at the beginning. So it's past 3 o'clock now, and says well done to you guys for staying awake so that you can tell us about your lovely critters. I will second that. And Kath wants to come back for some of your delicious bar snacks, please. Which I can vouch for that. The food was absolutely wonderful there. Guys, thank you so much for your time this evening and for getting up in the middle of the night to present to us and share to us. I think that was absolutely fascinating. I certainly really enjoyed it. I hope everybody that's on the presentation this evening really enjoyed it. We will let you go to your bed, and I will get in touch with Matthew, your boss, this evening, and tell him that you both earned a lion in the morning. So you get up at 11, 12 o'clock. I've got that covered. Don't you worry.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you very much. And if I'm interested, I will personally be at the Go Diving Show at the Coventry on the 2nd and 3rd of March.
2nd and 3rd of March. That's right. Yeah.
And if you have questions over there or like to see the result in a bit more detail, then please come and see me or Phil or Kath or anyone from the Dive Worldwide or Regal Dive team up there.
Yeah, we'll all be there. And thank you to everybody else for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was interesting. We'll leave you with a lovely picture here of the bar. Atmosphere Resort. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and we look forward to planning some trips to the Philippines and talking to you a little bit more about Atmosphere Resort, either at the dive show or later. So thanks very much for joining. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night. Bye bye.